Yesterday was the prosecution, today the defense. Idaho Sergeant Bo Bergdahl faces prison time for desertion. Compelling witnesses in court today tried to explain why Bergdahl walked off that Afghanistan base. Our Don Nelson is the only local reporter to attend the Article 32 hearing in Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio. As you can see, he's joining us live from there to tell us a little bit about the testimony today. Don.
Michelle, first things first, to start things off today, this was very interesting. The hearing officer said all evidence of soldiers that were injured or killed in the search for Bo Bergdahl will not be considered. Now, that's a big deal, a major issue with some of the families who claim that their sons and husbands and brothers were killed in that search for Bo Bergdahl. As a matter of fact, I spoke to a mother who was in the hearing room who lost a son. She was not happy at all when she heard that news at the start of the day. Chilling testimony from a survival and escape expert who spent days talking to Bo Bergdahl about his 5 years in captivity, talking about torture and horror. The hearing room, Michelle, was frozen when he talked about Bo Bergdahl being beaten with rubber hoses and chains. And it was much more detailed than that I will not get into during the dinner hour. And the Major General who oversaw the initial investigation into Bergdahl's disappearance and capture believes Bo walked away in order to stage what he called an elaborate public relations event in an effort to bring attention to what Bo perceived as inappropriate behavior of his supervisor. So, what is next for Sergeant Bo Bergdahl? We asked that to his attorney, Eugene Lydell.
To see if there's a way, respecting all of the competing interests, for Sergeant Bergdahl to get the kind of care that the record demonstrates that he needs and is going to need for the rest of his life. So how that's going to unfold, I don't know.
So, and what we don't know, Michelle, is when a decision will be made. Will it be days? Will it be weeks? Probably not months, but I would take a vote on probably the middle. In the weeks to come, we'll find out if this indeed will take that next step to the court-martial trial.
Don, I know this is day 2. You were sitting again just feet from Bo Bergdahl. Tell me about what his demeanor, what he looked like.
Well, he looks pretty sharp. As I mentioned yesterday, in his full military uniform, clean shaven, clean cut. He didn't say too much. He doesn't move that much. Pretty quiet. But I can't help, when I look at my notes, and I truly wish I could share all the details about the 5-year captivity that was shared with us for the very first time, about what he went through. Now, that's not to take away what he did when he walked away from that base that day and put his platoon in a very dangerous situation. But you can't help think when you look at him, I mean, he didn't look like it, no physical movements when he was they were talking specifically, but you can only imagine what he was thinking inside his head. Reporting live from Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, I'm Don Nelson. 6 on your side.
Don, we appreciate the live reporting again. Don, the only local reporter to cover that hearing. Bergdahl, of course, was held in captivity by the Taliban for 5 years after walking away from his post. He was brought back to the United States as part of a deal put together by President Obama. You might remember his release came as part of a trade for 5 Guantanamo Bay detainees. Again, live reports from Don coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, and many more details into what those 5 years held for Bo Bergdahl as a POW tonight when we can reveal that to you at 10.